Hello, my name is Teresa Rich from Reflexology UK, and this week of Stories from Reflexology UK, we are on part 8. So we've only got 2 more stories for me to share with you from the whole of my life, of the different stories that we have got from where reflexology has come across, I suppose, different stories that we share with you. And today's story is about how Reflexology UK was born and how it matured. So I wanted to let you know a little bit about that, how it evolved into being this vessel for other people to learn from. And I say vessel because I see myself as a separate entity when I'm working. It's like I'm this vessel that facilitates that learning process. So this is the story of how reflexology evolved. So like I said, most of you who know me, I've been teaching for a good 25 years, a long, long time. But I first of all started off teaching in the colleges, and I loved it. I remember my first mentor, I say she was a mentor, she looked at me underneath her half-cut glasses, and I'd first of all taught like this short beginner's course. And I said to her, I'd really like to teach a qualification course. And she looked at me underneath these glasses. You know, this was another level. It was totally, I was only in my 20s. And she said to me, Teresa, are you sure that's what you want to do? I said, yeah, we're brilliant. So anyway, so I did. My first year teaching, I had so many health issues because of my nerves. Every time I went into the classroom, I was nervous. The amount of work I had to do to put together all my handouts. There weren't many of us then. I was only like 25, 26. And there weren't many, we didn't have the internet, there weren't many other reflexology teachers, never mind reflexologists. And, I had to collate my own material, write it, and it was hard work. You'd be planning for a lesson and you'd be typing up all your handouts that had to go to students. So this is the very, very early days of how Reflexology UK was born. But I wanted to do teaching reflexology at the time because I wanted to help other people get better. I loved the treatments, I loved helping other people, but I wasn't too sure of my why. I wasn't really understanding my why. I really understood in the early days what it was like to be in corporate world. I knew all that. I knew the stress levels that my body had been through, which was extreme fatigue, and how reflexology helped me. It truly helped me. I cannot praise it enough. But anyway, I started teaching. And like I said, I taught all over Dorset and I absolutely loved it. Once I got over the first year of teaching, like I said, it was hard. It was real grind the first year, really was. And this lady that had been she wasn't a mentor, she was a supervisor, I suppose. She said, Teresa, are you okay? And I would always show up. I was always, determined and wanted my students to do really well. And any first year in teaching, if anyone ever knows, it's hard. It's really hard because you're getting used to a syllabus, you're getting used to a style of teaching, you're getting used to putting together all these handouts. And it wouldn't just be like a short course handouts. It was stuff. It was a lot of stuff. It was anatomy and physiology. It was putting together also the professional conduct, the reflexology. It was so much preparation before I even got to the classroom. The teaching was the easy stuff, but the preparation was so time consuming because no one ever came along and said, here, Teresa, have my file. I want the whole lot. I want to give it to you. No one did that. So I grinded. I won't pretend. It was a grind. It was hard work. It was a grind, hard work. And then I thought, after my first year, it'll be easier. Well, it was easier-ish, but syllabuses started changing. So I had to start producing more stuff. And it never, ever, ever stopped throughout the whole of my career in teaching. It's been continually evolving. Nowadays, I do videos for people so I can share my experience. But how did the transition, I want to let you know, the transition from teaching in college for various different institutions to leaving and setting up Reflexology UK as an independent person? Well, as I was evolving, at first I was the only one, which was fine, and I loved it. I was like my own boss and it was wonderful. I was sharing it with all these people and it was brilliant. Then more people wanted to learn how to teach reflexology, and I was absolutely fine with that. I was mentoring people how to teach reflexology, how to teach massage. I loved mentoring, but it was under the umbrella of the college. And I suppose in some ways I was an innocent youngster and very naive, but I had something that most people don't tune into, and I had intuition. I had a very, very high level of intuition, okay? And my intuition, my feelings towards the end of my career in different institutions was telling me something. It was constantly telling me something. I was happy to be mentoring people. Some people didn't even thank me for it. It was like that. And these institutions, various institutions, wanted my intellectual property. Now, I have no problem with sharing with other people, but they wanted to put their label on all the paperwork, all the different things that I'd produced. I'd paid X amount of money to learn more than just the basic reflexology. So anything that I was teaching, they wanted me to tell more other people how to teach it, okay? And they also wanted to have an overruling to say it was their property, all the intellectual property, handouts and everything, all the different subjects that I was teaching. And I thought, I wasn't too sure about this. I really, really struggled with understanding I'd spent this amount of years, and then suddenly the colleges wanted to say it was their material. And if I wanted to carry on staying at the colleges, then it would have been their material. And I'd have put in hours and hours, no exaggeration, of time typing up all these handouts outside of the classroom. You know, this was a lot of work I was producing. And I was like, I didn't understand the difference between my intuition and how much the voice in me was telling me. And as time evolved, I realized I was being used. I wasn't being recognized for what I was bringing into the classroom. I was expected to train other people to become me, and they wanted all my material. Now, I have no problem with giving my material out, but I didn't like the feeling of being used. And this was what was happening. And because my intuition was so strong in the very early days of that, I could see what was happening. So I had to make a very, very brave move. And it was a brave move because I was a single person. I had my own mortgage and I was holding it all together. And I decided to leave. And that's how Reflexology UK was born. I had this passion, this real passion, as I saw people coming through the door that were once like me. You see, I was older now, that were once like me when I was younger, and they were in corporate worlds. They were, you know, the lifestyle they were living was really, really stressful. And I thought, what I want to do is I want to bring that to other people so they could see how amazing your life could be turned around. So I wanted to give that, especially to women. I wanted to give women the opportunity of what I had been through. So Reflexology evolved and it became an independent iTech school teaching not just the subject, but I decided I wanted to teach more than the subject because I was so passionate. I wanted women to gain self-esteem and self-love and all those things, and inspiration, because sometimes they were walking through the door and they couldn't see it in themselves. And I kept giving and giving so much self-esteem, encouragement, all the way, because I could see things in these people. And reflexology was born because of that, because I had the opportunity. People were drawn to me when I was at college. They wanted whatever I had. And when I trusted my intuition, and I say intuition, when I trusted my intuition, I was then able to make the courageous move of leaving college teaching and set up in my own right. I didn't know how it was going to evolve. I had no idea. So I had the privilege of working in an academy in Bournemouth, and it was a beautiful academy, and I'm forever grateful. I met some amazing students who came through the doors of Reflexology UK, and it was such fun teaching. It was vibrant. All my dreams were coming true. I was watching young ladies come through the doors and evolve into really confident people, and it was just glorious. It wasn't just like I was teaching a subject. The subject was just the vessel. It was the confidence that I was able to instill in the females and some of the foreign people that came in to the academy as well. It was the confidence that I was able to instill in them and the self-belief that I was able to give them. And with that, suddenly came lockdown. It was unbelievable. Suddenly I had to think. I was working in this academy. I'd been doing it for a number of years as Reflexology UK and iTech training school. And I suddenly had to think, gosh, lockdown, we were all in lockdown. What do I do with this academy? So intuitively, a voice said to me, I need to close the academy and I need to set up my own premises. It was a scary move. Intuition can be scary. It was fearful. I didn't know whether it was the right thing to do. I had nothing substantial to hold on to say, do this. So quickly, I moved so fast. I built my academy. I went out there. I closed down that school. And now I have the academy 6 months later. Have my iTech students going to my own academy that I built, not personally, but I had tradesmen come in and do. And at that time, my intuition was telling me at the beginning of lockdown, you've got to close it. I could have kept it open, okay? But it said I needed to close it. So all I did was just listen to what it was telling me. 3 months into that, the owners of the academy decided to close their business. They closed their business and finalized it, the beauty salon and everything. Now, if I hadn't listened to my intuition, I would know I would not have an academy that I had built. I started building that academy as soon as my intuition told me, as soon as I was closing the school. So I think what I'm trying to tell you is listen to that voice. Sometimes it's really scary. And when my intuition is most strongest is when I meditate in the morning. I don't know what happens. It's one of the most precious times of my day. Is when I meditate, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes. Normally I try to do 20 minutes, and then this silent voice comes through. Then it's up to me whether I choose to listen to it. Now that's how it works for me. Sometimes the voice will get louder and louder and louder, and it's telling me something because I'm not always listening. So I think the hardest thing for anybody is to learn to trust, especially when people have been put down, they've been knocked down, they don't trust in the process of life. Normally, when we trust ourselves, if you believe in a God or a higher power or something bigger than ourselves, it will help us along the way. We never ever know the hows. And when I first left college and I set up this academy for training, I was only paying it in the early days on a daily basis. Then they said, could you take it on like on a contract? And I thought, my gosh, how am I going to have this amount of expenditure going out? And what I'm trying to say, I said to myself, I will follow my intuition, God. Now, I'm no religious person, but I will follow my intuition. And if you want me to train people to become qualified people, give them the self-esteem I possibly can, or self-belief, etc. If you really want me to do that, I will work my butt off for you. But the day you stop sending the people to me will be the day that I shut it down. But I will give it a go. And I said that to myself. And I said it to this higher power. I will give it a go. I didn't know the hows. I didn't know the hows people were going to walk through that door at that time. I didn't know how I was going to pay for this contract, the leasing. I had no idea. My rental income went through the roof. But slowly, people started flocking and the word got out there. And the same thing is happening now. I never knew when we started lockdown. I don't know from day to day what's going to happen. But I tell you one thing, as soon as lockdown happened, I knew my intuition. No one could take that away from me. I knew what I needed to do. And I didn't know the how, but I followed my intuition. And that's all you've got to do, is if that little voice is saying something and it gets louder and louder and louder in your body, follow it, trust it. Because no one can take that away. We never know the hows in life. We never know. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know what a couple of months will bring. But I know one thing is I will show up. I will bring confidence to people. I will bring joy to people no matter what's going on in the world. I will encourage people. And I will work my socks off to make whatever God wants me to do happen. Because I am just a vessel. I truly believe it's not me as a person. I don't know whether this makes any sense, but I am just a vessel for whatever I'm meant to be doing in the world. And as far as I understand, my why is to be able to help people use reflexology, massage, Indian head, to be able to go out and use those tools, develop their own business, and gain the confidence to have control over their life when it suits them that they want to work. So if I can be that vessel for people, then that's all I'm doing. I never know the hows. All I know is my intuition is my guiding force. And that's, my friend, if that can help you, listening to your intuition. We never know the how. We don't know where we're going to be in a week's time, but that little voice will say, do this or go that way. Whether we trust it is another story. And that's the story of how Reflexology UK has evolved. My name is Teresa Rich from Reflexology UK. Come and see me on my Reflexology UK Facebook page, or you're more than welcome to pop on over to my website, reflexologyuk.org. My name is Teresa Rich, and if I've helped you, please share this with anyone else that you feel needs a bit more of a buzz with their intuition. Thank you for listening.